Welcome back to the homestead. So this afternoon's project, we're going to see if we can get the rear springs in the Apocalypse truck. You saw Sue do the unboxing, but we've got everything laid out now, ready to go. We've made sure we had all of our parts. We have our shocks, our springs, our bushings, our U-bolts. There's one odd U-bolt for the front end, and we'll show you that. Not in this video. We're probably just going to get the rear springs in this video. We think it's going to go pretty good, but knock on wood, you know how that always goes. Somebody's had the rear suspension basically apart on this, so I think it's going to go pretty straightforward. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of our shocks. We want to spin our shocks off, and they give us these new mounts, so we're going to go ahead and take our shocks completely off, mount and all. And we may want to let the vehicle down a little bit. You'll notice the shock is actually holding the vehicle right at the moment. There we go. There's our impact. We need a wrench for the other side. This bolt we will be reusing, so we'll leave that right down there now. Get that shock on it. And we need a big wrench, bigger than that. We'll have the whole toolbox over here in a minute, don't worry. We're pretty confident on that one because we've already had this one out. Now, if you take your wrench, put it in behind the flat washer, leave your impact in reverse, you can walk the bolt right out. Bolt back together. We'll do the same thing to the other side, and then we're going to get our torches and cut some U-bolts. We might be able to get those U-bolts off if we really wanted to, but my finding is with U-bolts, once they've been on for a while, they rust a lot, and even if you can get them off, you never really get a good torque on them again because of the rust. We're going to take the easy wrench. potentially really heavy, so I'm going to put gloves on. Too heavy. So now our new springs have a wedge on the bottom of them, right here. And the thin part of the wedge goes towards the front of the truck. And the purpose of that is to spin the rear end just a couple degrees and take a little angle off that rear universal joint now that we're actually lifting it in the air. So we're going to see if we can wrestle this off there. See if I can knock everything off the plywood, right? I might have to lift it a little bit. So what I'm doing now is lining up this spring with this hole, so my bolt will go through there. And then what we're going to end up doing is we're going to lift the truck and see if we can get all that to fit. I'm a little skeptical we should have gone under the emergency brake cable. Not 100% sure on that one. But good news is we haven't hooked it back up yet. So we'll just go ahead and take it right out. There we go. Now it won't bother us. And I think what we'll do is possibly get both sides ready, and then we'll lift the truck up and get the springs in, and we'll set the truck back down. And we're hopeful we got enough weight here. We might actually have to bring the tractor in and set the forks of the tractor on here and pick the whole front of the tractor up. With no body on here, there might not be enough weight to get the shocks hooked. But we'll take it one step at a time. All right, let's go over and see if we can get the other side apart. Interestingly, you'll note, fortunately we tore into this because this one, the center bolt's not tight. See how loose that is? So, this is what's called a center bolt. This bolt that goes down through the spring and has this head on it. And this head sets in a hole in the rear end and holds these springs all lined up. So when it gets loose like that, when you step on the gas, the rear end will go one way or the other. The springs will all kind of walk, and it'll take up the slack, and it'll make your truck go down the road sideways. So if you ever followed a vehicle down the road and it's kind of going down the sideways, chances are it's got a broken or loose center bolt on the rear. Okay, so now I'm going to run the lift up to get these a lot closer so we can get the back bolts in. Alright, I'm probably going to have Sue put the camera down and give me some assistance. As you can see, things move pretty easy, but I need one more hand that I don't have. God only gave me two. Alright, so Sue helped me get the bolts in. These springs have a lot of arch because they're a soft ride spring. So even though they're going to lift it 4 inches with no body on it, they're probably going to lift it more like 6 or 7 until we get some weight on it. So we had to push and pull a little bit to get things to go in. Wasn't too bad, I just couldn't do it with the 2 hands I have. So we've gone ahead, we put a floor jack under there, and we've got the rear end housing lined up with the springs. And we're going to put our spring plates back on. Watch your brake lines while you're doing that you go around the brake line correctly. And these springs, I mean these U-bolts, are not bent very accurate. I gotta get something with more power. Oh, way too much. Just Spidey's out here helping us too, supervising. So we're going to snug these up. Stop there for now until we get the other side in. I think I'm going to be able to get them. I guess I just cut my band. Now I'll try to get the rest of the shock on there. What's going on? Alright, so we're still fighting with this, but we found a system on the other side that sort of seemed to work. So we're going to go ahead and take our pieces, take our parts. I'm going to bring her out and show you what we did. This is a hole in top of the fork cage that we will line up with said stud, and we will beat the crap out of it. That one went much easier. The last one we beat on for about 5 minutes, believe it or not. And what I found is if I put the flat washer and the nut on first, I did not bring the wrench. So I put it in my pocket. And then we can use this to draw it in some more. And then we can take that off and put our lock washer on. I don't think I've ever had one that... And we oiled these. You saw us put some oil on it. And they did not want to go through there. It's supposed to snow tonight. I don't really need that. Just in case anybody was wondering. Put our bolt back in down bottom. Maybe. That's not the nut. Right, we'll come back to it. thinking those are going to end up going back in like this. But I'm not 100% sure. We may actually have to make some lowering brackets for it. We're going to do some reading, see what they tell us to do in the instructions. They did give us a whole bag of stuff here. So we'll do some reading, but that's the whole back suspension in, and as you can see, it's not setting on the lift. So it's actually on the suspension. So I think that will be it for tonight. I think what we'll do is we'll wrap this video up. Probably already too long for you guys. And we'll bring you back tomorrow and we'll try getting the front springs in this and see if we can get it sitting on all 4 wheels with 4 inches of lift. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.